Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of VCTV. I am your host, Kyle Ellicott, and we've got an exciting episode. One that I'm going to be a little bit more enthusiastic than others because we are talking about three of my favorite subjects outside of blockchain and fintech, and that is esports, gaming, entertainment, and just sports as a whole. And why not have a little fun with it? So we are coming live to you, or I'm coming live to you from the esports arena in Las Vegas. Just kidding. This is a Zoom background. We're still just hanging out on Zoom, but nonetheless, we've got a lot to talk about. These are all areas that we know have had a huge change, a huge shift going into 2020. They were already starting to dominate in their respected areas or change a little bit as technology was enhancing what they were doing. But now as we go through 2020 and we look to 2021, how has the world of esports changed? How has the world of gaming completely shifted, whether it be from mobile to console to device? What is happening? And entertainment as a whole, how are we looking at entertainment going forward? As we've looked at how much data has been collected, the type of content that's been created, everything in between, the technology that has been fueled and integrated into these areas, what is the opportunity? And that's what we're here to talk about, not the fact that Nintendo Switches are still sold out everywhere, but we are here to talk about those opportunities, where you can find them, technologies you need to pay attention to, the opportunities, the industries, and where around the world these are being impacted. But first, before we get started, thank you so much for tuning in today, audience. If you like what you hear, click subscribe, give us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to be on a show like today, like our fellow investors, do reach out. We'd love to have you share your thoughts and insights. Thank you, Irina. We'd love to have you share your thoughts and insights with our live audience on a number of different topics. We'll find the right one for you. And entrepreneurs, we've talked about this. It's Q3, third quarter, quarter three. What does that mean? It's the sprint to the end of the year. All right, this is the time when you should be out there, whether it's introducing your product to the world, selling your product, or fundraising. This is a great opportunity, and it is the sprint. We've got a virtual stage for you, not just in the esports arena, but here on VCTV, to share your company, your product, your service with us as investors and our live audience. So do reach out to the LATOKEN team, Maria and or myself. We'll find the right opportunity for you. And with that, a big thank you to Maria and to the entire LATOKEN team for making VCTV possible every single day on your device, anywhere in the world. And with that, let's get ready to rumble. Let's see. It's fun being a moderator. You get to have all kinds of exciting stuff. So let's go ahead and introduce each and every one of our guests today. In our starting roster spots, point guard this afternoon, Wayne Kimmel. Welcome to the show for the first time here on VCTV. If you can, for the audience, a little introduction and a little background, please.
Well, Kyle, thank you so much. I mean, I'm fired up. I'm like ready to go now. I'm like, I wish I could like jump through the screen and, we should start playing. Like, I can't, this is amazing. So thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Wayne Kimmel, managing partner of 76 Capital, and we're a venture capital fund that invests in all the areas you just talked about. We invest in the sports tech industry, in the esports industry, and sports betting. And as you said, there is no better time than now for entrepreneurs to really come up with and present the next thing within the sports industry. There are so many incredible factors and things that are now happening as to why this is the time. And that's what we're all about at 76 Capital, investing in those startup entrepreneurs who are doing the next thing, that are incredibly passionate about what they're doing, that are smart, that are nice, and want to really change the world and do the next thing in sports. And we want to meet you. So thanks for having me, Kyle.
Wonderful. And thanks for joining us today. Guys, if you have not checked out 76 Capital, you've not checked out Wayne, definitely do. I highly recommend him as a friend. Also, as an investor, they are great investors to have on your side as well, especially if you're working in these industries. So shameless plug, and you all get one, but Wayne got it first. And in our second spot, Sergey, welcome back to the show. It's a pleasure to have you. A little intro, a little background. We saw you yesterday on VCTV talking about some different industries than today, but I think they tie in very nicely. So a little intro, a little background.
Hi, Kyle. Thank you very much for this energy. I hope you can hear me clear. Yeah, yesterday we've complained that there is lack of energy on Zoom, but I think that you've covered this perfectly. Okay, so let me shortly introduce myself again. So I'm managing partner of Deposit Capital Partners. We are a boutique venture investment in the company that has offices in Singapore, Hong Kong, and Bangkok. So at the moment, we privately connect startups with private investors with a net worth of over $1 billion in assets. So, and right now, because we did this successfully, we are going under assembling our first fund of 45 million euros in Luxembourg. We invest in early stage startups, all things digital, including actually game tech and esports. And while I'm happy to represent the company here at the show. Thank you again, Kyle.
Wonderful, and welcome back as well. And in our third spot, a good friend all the way from Europe who is joining us, who normally has a PlayStation controller in his hand during this topic, but nonetheless, my good video game friend, Eduardo. Welcome back to the show. In our third spot, a little intro, a little background.
Well, actually, not only the PlayStation controller, I already have it right now, actually on standby, my PS4 Pro. So Wayne, I mean, you say that you are ready to play, so count on me, okay? I got it here, literally. Yeah, little background. As Kylie said, I'm a pure gamer since I was a child, but on a professional side, I'm a director in the Soriano Group and Family Office. We're a large U.S. family office that invests in all these industries and others, esports, entertainment, gaming, deep tech, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, fintech, blockchain, that kind of things, actually. And answering to your question, actually, I think that it's probably the best time of the last decade, I will say, when it comes to invest in these particular verticals and industries, because the industry has been changing a lot dramatically. Actually, a recently published report said that more than half of the global population plays, actually, and mostly of them do that through their mobile devices. Most of them are also based in Asia, so that means huge opportunity in these particular verticals and industries, and in a number of platforms that are moving from just pure physical, games to digital, actually. You see, PlayStation, for example, 5, which today, by the way, don't miss it, guys. An audience is gonna be the State of Play, actually. Event that will be presenting probably different options, pricing, and the digital and also the physical console. Also subscriptions such as PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now. Actually, rumors that will be probably merging in the next months. So you're definitely a huge opportunity in a number of verticals. So I mean, and we are also always open, for entrepreneurs and CEOs and founders, if they will like to share with us their projects and their products and services, actually, because we like to invest, we like to share our views in the industry and help them develop their businesses and escalate them into a more global basis. So yeah, very happy to be here, and thanks again to all the LATOKEN team, Kylie, Elena, and the others.
Absolutely happy to have you back. And in our fourth spot, ladies and gentlemen, a key position, mind you, who holds the team together and makes sure we survive every single game. Angela, welcome to the show here on VCTV. First time, pleasure to have you. A little intro, a little background.
Thank you so much, Kyle. It's good to see you again. And yeah, it's good to be on the show. So my background is really in traditional investment banking, firms like UBS, Evercore Partners, Guggenheim. And then I was the first eSports analyst in the public markets world back in 2015. And really at that time, the only public markets company to talk about of note was really Activision. Of course, they've all jumped in, but I just decided I was really passionate about this intersection of esports and video gaming with blockchain and the idea of digital asset economies popping up in digital world. So I decided to leave and launch my own firm. So I launched Signum Growth Capital. And so we are a FINRA registered broker dealer. So we are advising really in that intersection companies. I'm on the advisory board of Mythical Games, and I'm an investor in Mythical Games. We are also investing in other emerging technology companies, kind of at this intersection of disruptive entertainment meets blockchain. So I am passionate about the idea of ownership in digital spaces. And Mythical Games is going to be very, very cool. It's coming out soon, later this year, so stay tuned. We're in the alpha right now. The game's awesome. It's based on a digital toy concept. The characters look like digital toys. They're called blankos because it's all about creators. So creators can use the tools to create their own games and also design their own blankos. We've got street artists like, Kronk. We've got fashion designers, brands, all wanting to get involved. And the founders are John Linden, who ran Call of Duty 3 Generations, the head of Oculus, or former head of Oculus, former creator of DJ Hero, Guitar Hero. We have somebody from Rudy from World of Warcraft and Club Penguin. So we've got a lot of talent and really digging into this topic of ownership in gaming.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to the show. We're going to talk a lot about that. We also just had our next player to announce, rounding out our starting five for today, ladies and gentlemen. Irina Litchfield, also known as Crypto Superwoman, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We have someone shaking their head at the intersection of blockchain and digital assets. But before I take over her intro spot, Irina, welcome back to the show. A little intro, a little background.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Such a pleasure to be back. I'm doing a double today. So, 2 in a row. This is my highlight of the day. It's such a great baseline for me. I love connecting to new people. I love talking to people that already we've been discussing as a participant. This is one of the best platforms I've ever spoken to, I would say, or, a network. So this is amazing. I love it. And your energy, you're just an inspiration, such an inspiration. My name is Irina Litchfield. I am I'm a president and founder of Lumeria. It is where capital meets innovation. Kind of more mature companies in the world of startups. Usually company needs to have scaling needs, so proof of concept, revenue, all that stuff. I am founder of Blockchain Cubed, which is a blockchain integration company. We do high-level infrastructure design and make sure that the technology works for your solutions. And now this gaming entertainment topic is really dear to me. Why? Because the first business I found in the United States wasn't the first work I've done, but it's the first business I found when I came to United States was a gaming, and it was a hybrid gaming. So we designed the system that basically allows the person to have in-person like experience and then take it online with the points and all that stuff. So kind of a hybrid idea of people having personal interaction while also taking it digitally. So it was almost 20 years ago, a long time ago, but it's so dear to me. And personally, I am a gamer. I love games. Everything I do is a game. I mean, I have a VR and a PlayStation 2. I love Final Fantasy. I mean, we were building this solution, the Matrix, right, for quota, right? Because I mean, there's so many opportunities in gaming, and with blockchain, I mean, look at Wax, they're flying, right? People love to make sure that, you know, the digitization is amazing.
Mhm.
I played Star Wars in VR. I mean, the Darth Vader guy came and looked me in the eyes, and I'm like standing there feeling fear, right? And thinking like, I can't do it, and experiencing this, all these hormones are flying off my body. I mean, it's amazing, right? Little Big Planet, all these games and the world that we have right now, I think is so important too. Because another thing that I'm really excited about, and you know, I think to mention too, is that now gaming is now becoming a vehicle that allows us to also kind of use a mental health exercise. So there's a meditation games, VR games, where you control the things you visually see with your breath. So huge integration, big implementation, lots of money, and biggest demand I think we have ever seen is available right now.
Yeah, and it's just growing. I mean, whether it's from console to device to mobile, there's so much happening. But before we get to that, we're rounding out our sixth man of the year, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be shy on this gentleman. He's got a ton to pack in, a ton to contribute. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome Adrian back to the show. Adrian, little intro, little background on yourself, rounding out our starting team here before we get into questions.
Thank you for having me here. The energy is second to none today, and I like the I like the atmosphere. My name is Adrian Niculescu. I'm involved in a few projects. One of them is a Dubai-based accelerator and incubator for companies with faster capital. Another one is a CloudCoin Consortium, where I do the communication outside of Canada and United States. I'm also mentor in Virgin Startups. And an up-and-coming music producer. I have my own DJ project since 2013. The Globetrotters, and I'm looking, during this period, I'm looking at the next big thing in music distribution and in on-demand content. Few editions ago, all the people may find fun of me because I didn't have a Netflix subscription, so I did one, but only my children enjoyed it. I wasn't able to see anything. I resisted. I'm very happy to be here and can't wait to start the debate.
Wonderful. And welcome, everybody. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. No, seriously, everyone, welcome so much. And again, thank you for taking the time today to share your thoughts and insights around these three areas. There's a ton to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started. My first question for each of you is what your current view or how you are seeing these three industries. So sports, entertainment, and esports. We'll throw gaming in there as well. How are you seeing these areas as they are today? Again, a lot has happened in 2020, but also pre that. So 2019, we were already seeing an acceleration of some of these areas and how things were changing for the good and maybe not so good as well, right? We saw, as Eduardo mentioned, the shift going from into emerging markets. We've seen areas like India, for instance, that have surged in gaming, actually leading in terms of the number of users around PUBG outside of any other country as well. There is a ton happening in this space. Moving into entertainment, teasing Adrian for a minute, people now more than ever have streaming accounts. The idea that we all wanted the unbundling, well, guess what? We now all want bundling back because we got 15 different subscription services. So what's that mean for the future of content? So to each and every one of you, let's start with where do you see things at today, currently, that has changed or shifted in these areas? Wayne, let's start with you kicking off as our starting team member here. Where are you seeing things as the current state?
Wow, it's a big question. So I'll go on for I got about an hour. Is that right?
You got about an hour and a half, easy. Yeah. Till halftime. You're plenty good.
Yeah, I'll be real quick. I mean, I think the thing is that a lot has happened. So we'll start with sort of in the the streaming and esports world. I mean, just as some of the things that we're involved with. So we're investors in, one of our companies is Nerd Street Gamers, and Nerd Street is just doing amazing things from an esports perspective. And just yesterday, we announced a 40,000 square foot campus, esports campus, in Philadelphia. It's got its own zip code. It's pretty amazing what we've just done, and it's a place where you're going to have our global headquarters. We'll have broadcast capabilities there, content creation studios, 20,000 square foot public of space to come and play and train and play, right? Like that's the kind of thing that, you know, we're all about, this idea. And I think this is for all of us. We want to democratize gaming. We want to enable anyone and everyone to have an amazing experience, to be able to go and play on the best equipment that anyone has. It's just like, you know, we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to play, and that's something that's really big and for us as well. And you know, we have the fastest internet there, and it's just going to be really, really excited with pro teams and college teams and high school teams all play there as well. So it's super exciting for what we're doing from that perspective. And you talk about platforms and things that are going on there. You know, we're investors in Maestro with Ari Evans and his team. That platform has just talk about things just taking off over the last 6 months, from a gaming perspective, but then from an entertainment perspective, where Katy Perry and Tim McGraw and other acts are now using this platform to stream when they can't do what they're doing, what they were able to do from a live event perspective. But that's how the tech is really being used across, you know, the esports world, and the opportunities there are just amazing. And I'll tell you, the one other thing I just can't neglect to say when you talk about sort of one of the other trends is like, look, from a sports betting perspective, Michael Jordan is now in the game, right? He's with DraftKings, right? So like, think about that, and think about what's happened within the sports betting industry within the United States since May 14th of 2018, when PASPA was overturned, when only Nevada could have sports betting. Now, you know, we have 20 states, and we think over the next 18 to 24 months, you'll have like 40 states that will have legalized, regulated sports betting. And that, you know, that ties into esports, that ties into traditional sports, it ties into lots of new things and lots of new opportunities. And we at 76 Capital are all about the entrepreneurs that are thinking about doing the next thing in those industries. The deals that companies like VSiN and US Integrity and DraftKings and William Hill and NBC, I mean, like ESPN, the Mouse House, they did a sports betting deal, right, with Caesars and William Hill. Who would have thought that they would do that? You'd think, you know, of course, NBC, they did the PointsBet deal. Like, these are things that, and by the way, all that stuff has happened within the last, I don't know, 8 days, 9 days. It's incredible about the things that are now happening, and the speed and velocity of deals. And for us, gosh, I mean, think about the opportunities. Think about looking at things a little differently, and that's the opportunity for entrepreneurs to get into this game right now.
I couldn't agree more. And what's fascinating as we continue is all of these have been pieces of a big puzzle that's slowly, but all of a sudden accelerated, coming together. Right, where when it comes from the sports betting world to gaming to esports to entertainment, all of this is starting to merge, which I see Angie just getting a big smile on her face, along with Arena. They both know exactly where this is going. All of that stuff is starting to merge, and we've wanted it, and it's finally almost here, which is super exciting. And Wayne, we're going to come back to a few of those points. Congratulations as well on the launch of the new esports arena in Philadelphia. Sergey, to you, current state, how are you seeing things?
Thank you, Kyle. So we are lucky actually to have to been working with one of the biggest startups in Southeast Asia about esports called Emperors. So they successfully passed the pre-series A and now moving to series A, founded with ex-Switch executives. So I will just throw in some data that we were digging in with them. I will be some kind of a numbers nerd here. So let's see. I think if we compare, for example, the sports and esports, one of the question is, I mean, it's a business, so each team is kind of evaluated with some kind of a multipliers. So if you look, for example, for NBA teams, the multiplier is the highest multiplier. I'm just looking at my data here, is like 10, average is 6.5, and the lowest is 4.7 multiplier to their revenues and all that.
But if we look for esports team valuations, what are your guesses? I mean, like, what do you expect? Are they higher or lower? They actually, if I look at the US or Korea, South Korea's esports teams, which are the most highly valuated, the highest valuation is 24 multiplier 24. So, and the average valuation multiplier is 14. So is this like overhyped market? Or is it probably, you know, the investors see more potential in that? Because, you know, traditional sports is everyone already knows what the return is going to be. I mean, everything is calculated, so the expectations are there. But with the esports teams, if I look, for example, I have this valuation data about the top esports teams. Let me check. Yeah. So, for example, the top one, which is Cloud9, evaluated a sports team, is valuated at about $400 million with 29 million revenues. Like I said, like 13x. So if we also look at the markets here with the traditional sports, it's a bit different, but with the esports, the most, what you need to keep in mind is there is East and there is West. There are different, you know, type of players, and they prefer different type of games. So the East players line more towards, you know, mobile gaming, while the West prefers more PC or console gaming. If we speak about the biggest gaming markets, the biggest gaming market is China, which is obviously mobile dominated market. The second one is US. And, you know, if we look next, we'll see Japan at the number 3, South Korea at the number 4, and Germany, United Kingdom, respectively, 5 and 6. So for every esports startup, it's imperative to decide what market they're targeting at. It's relevant if they even start with, you know, let's say it's a small company in Europe. Obviously, they will need to target European markets. There will be question of language of your content, what language it will be in, because the viewers need to be engaged in other countries. If you're like speaking, let's say you were oriented towards French gamers and your content is in French, then obviously, you know, it's need to be expected to what people outside of France will be looking at this content. And the second thing I think is how your esports teams will be getting the revenues, because the sponsorship makes the hugest chunk of the profitability here. But there is also licensing. There is also, you know, maybe you expect providing licensing rights. So I think, if wrapping up my speech, if you think about sports in esports, esports presents more opportunities in terms of higher valuations and higher revenues, while traditional sports is probably more for more established conservative type of investors, that they can easily calculate the returns and they understand this market way better probably. But if you look for higher returns, esports is your bet.
And I couldn't agree more, but we're going to come back to that too, because there is some questions around where to place those bets in esports. But I think you're calling out some great opportunities. And again, target market, just like any other company, you need to figure out who your target market is and where do you want to finish as well. So with that, Eduardo, to you, quick, where do you see things currently right now?
Yeah, discuss as perfectly mentioned by Wayne and Sergey, definitely right now, actually, the main hotspots, I will say, are Asia and mobile devices, which brings us that also there's a lot of growth potential in Europe and in other regions in the world, actually, such as, for example, US, also LATAM, because mostly of people usually play through their mobile devices, but I will say that hard gamers are still more interested in building their own gaming computer or using their PS4 Pros, other consoles. Actually, I would say that Nintendo Switch is more intended for other public, but still that actually, and as you perfectly mentioned, they're still sold out. Actually, I just read right now a report that apparently Sony is gonna have problems in the launching of PS5 with availability, which means that the market and the potential is still there actually. And also something that I would like to point it out is that subscription services are having experienced a tremendous growth actually, not only Xbox Live Pass, but also PS Plus, PS Now too, which basically allows you to stream and download over 800 games. By the way, Irina, in this month you have Final Fantasy 15 for free on PS Now if you like to try it. So that kind of things have been having also a tremendous impact in the industry, which became much more social right now because people have been quarantined because of this, in this era of pandemic, which is also one of the main topic of this series of sessions. And that means that there's a tremendous opportunity for those platforms and services, which even in some cases allows you to make money playing, which is insane actually. These guys, small kids making hundreds of $1,000s on a yearly basis just for playing, and blockchain also allowed a number of opportunities in this particular case, in which you can basically get bitcoins on a virtual world and transform those coins into real money, which means that the opportunity is there. And right now, I mean, we are looking at this, a number of entrepreneurs and CEOs and clever and smart guys with amazing services and projects that we will love to get to know and to put our money into work, to be honest.
Absolutely. And you're bringing up a great topic, right? The idea of being able to make money playing games, but also the creativity behind it, right? The creators. And this is for Angie here as well, because that creator aspect, right? For so long, gaming was just entertainment. It was just gaming. It was more in a digital sense than a physical sense. And now it's an entirely different world. And that creator aspect comes out so strongly. Angela, to you, yeah, kind of teeing you up here. I mean, what are you seeing as the current state of these areas as you focus so much in it?
Yeah, so I would start with about 2 years ago, I did an evaluation of blockchain video games and the potential to actually, I kept hearing both entrepreneurs and investors say, won't it be great when you can take your gun from one game and move it to another? And it just didn't make sense to me, almost like, moving a movie plot from one to another and just like, that is the game. I don't know how you could actually do that. And then the other thing was just the state of blockchain at that moment really wasn't developed enough with just Ethereum and Bitcoin. That led me to do a lot more digging in blockchain into layer 1 protocols. And I forgot to mention that I'm the lead advisor for Polkadot, which just launched, and I'm going to continue working with them. And there actually aren't that many gaming projects that have launched on Polkadot, but I do think that Polkadot does solve a lot of these issues, which mainly boil down to speed that's required for AAA games and for trading in-game assets, and then a lot of other kind of technology issues in gaming around rendering and lighting, etc. So I think that we are at I think a lot of kind of themes are converging, which is, people owning more and more online, getting rid of their stuff, having, this kind of behavior. I always say as an investor, I want to merge onto the highway of behavior that's already happening. And the behavior that was already happening was people going to eBay and selling stuff and skins, etc. And World of Warcraft gold, I don't know how many years has been for sale there. So I think that that behavior has already happened. And what I think was lacking was really the technology to be able to create kind of a decentralized network of trading. I don't think we're there yet, by the way. And also the video game expertise. And that's what I liked about Mythical, given their backgrounds. I think it's I would say, in doing the digging on the blockchain side, I think a lot of cryptographers underestimate how complicated video games and media, just the ecosystem and the business models of media and video games, and maybe overestimate how complicated cryptography is, and how, yes, we need to, advance, we need to see some advancements, but I think that figuring out great gaming first, games and worlds, is going to be key, because consumer behavior is going to drive this. So I'm still really bullish, and like I said, Mythicals, we're in the alpha right now. The game will be coming out, and the business model is really more about provide, almost like Epic Games, who I think has the greatest business model on the planet, creates games to demo their technology. As John Linden said to me a couple of years ago, and a light bulb went off. If you gaming companies that use their games not in and of themselves as the only revenue model, but to demo their technology that then can be licensed out to or given out and drive kind of a true platform flywheel, that I think is powerful. And I think when we do see a company who can break through on actually digital ownership, asset, ownership, I think it's going to be a huge opportunity.
And it's starting, to your point, right? There is a huge movement happening, and Irina, this is to you. There's a huge movement happening around that, and the convergence of those digital assets into gaming and vice versa as well. And Irina, to you, what are you seeing as the current state of these three industries?
I see digitization of the experiences that people are used to having in person, and then vice versa. So I think that we are experiencing a big shift, and the great example for that would be, sports, traditional sports, whatever that might be. Now, kind of looking at how do we recreate that experience virtually, and then virtual games going in and saying how do we actually can expand the experience of people. And now we start seeing conversion of malls coming into more, bigger experience in VR, because if we have space, we can make people interaction, and you can play games if you want to, if you have big enough field, you can run around, it's fine. So I see that shift, basically things that, going through, we do have marketplace already. Wax Marketplace is a great marketplace for, for skins. It's been around for a while. They're doing a great job. I think that the key that I would like to bring to this is that I see big advantage for those companies that are implementing different innovations to advance the experiences. Blockchain is only one aspect of that, right? Blockchain allows us to have immutable information. So the reason this is important to us, and especially in a gaming world and in a virtual world, is the authenticity. That's all, authenticity and speed of transfer, right? Because if we need to, as soon as we have to have intermediaries validate our authenticity, and the bigger value of it is, the more expensive it is for us to create that authenticity. So for entertainment purposes, your $1, your 50 cents, your 1 cent transfer makes no sense. So it needs to be fast enough and settle right away. Blockchain allows us to do it. We don't need dedicated blockchains for it. Tokenization exists. It's already there. Anybody can go and create whatever tokens they want. My kid has token, okay? She has a course-specific offering token. It's a token for nonprofit because it's a smart contract. Call it whatever you want. You can, we can implement it when we can do it now. There are some blockchain companies that are, for example, creating the clubs for fans to kind of interact and exchange and monetize. It's one in Malta, a great good friend does it, but Chili's. So Chili's, they actually have big sports teams already lined up. You know, they're already participating in it. I mean, Dota is on it. Justin, my husband, he went through Dota phase. Okay, like, you know, he played Dota and he built this analytics things, because obviously Justin would kill analytics. If you guys, when you get a chance to meet him, you'll see that it's like just analytics thing. But you know, these solutions are already there. I think the key is integration. Now, AI is an interesting thing for us to think about, because it allows us to build a game that personalizes to us. If we design a perfect game, we want that sense of personalization. We want that ability to have a free will, right, and the choices. And so I think that kind of whatever companies are either bringing one or the other, or uniting them one into experience, I think are going to be that new unicorn of things that we are not seeing yet. And that's what I like to think about in entertainment and sports and gaming, because gaming is an entertainment, is what is that blind side that we don't have in our experience, but it's there, and technology is allowing us to do it, because we finally can integrate it. And in my opinion, it's kind of that cross, right? Whatever was here is going here, whatever is here is going here.
Everything's starting to merge, everything's starting to intersect, which is great. And Adrian, I want to come to you for quick thoughts as well on this before we get to the lightning round. I want to get to everyone around opportunities and also what else you're seeing here in this space with a few follow-ups. So Adrian, what are you seeing as the current state of these three industries?
I see that the consumer, the user, is more than ever the most powerful piece here. And if you launch a new project, you need to drill down very deep your ideal buyer persona, your ideal user, to be able to break through in the market, because there are so many options there. So to build a following and to start a project and to create a user base from scratch is a very, very interesting exercise. And people more than ever are very happy to switch from one platform to the other. So that's why the idea of mixing platforms together is a very good trend, I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to come to each of you on just a few quick questions. So Angie, coming back to you, you know, you focus so heavily in the digital asset space. Where is the opportunity, or where are the opportunities in that digital asset kind of non-fungible token collectible space? So throwing all of them in there, but we'll just call it digital assets. Where is the opportunity for digital assets in the world of sports and esports today?
Yeah, so I really like this concept, and I think that actually it could be one of the first big opportunities. Kyle, I can't even remember if we've talked about this in the past, but you just hit on one of my favorite topics, because, you know, team owners are having a hard time finding ways to make money, and they have very high costs. And I could definitely see a world in which we can tokenize some of the items in the game so that the team owners can share in the revenues. Because one of the big opportunities, you know, Irina mentioned a lot of the reasons, you know, to have a blockchain, and it doesn't solve cure cancer, as a lot of people think it might, but it does allow for shared value, kind of sharing of the revenues between all the parties that should be sharing in the revenue, including the creators. But I do think team owners will be able to benefit from this in the near future.
Wayne, to you real quick. Where's the opportunity in sports? We know it's happened in the past for 2020. Things have just stopped. Sports betting all of a sudden came back. Sports, now there's opportunities. What are you seeing as an opportunity, similar to Angie, around what's being missed that people should be focused on, whether it's in sports betting, et cetera? Where's the opportunity they should be placing their bets?
Well, I think the opportunity is really, it's to really look at the overall industry, and whether it's something that, whether you're an expert in esports or you're a sports betting expert, there's an opportunity to transform these industries, to really look at just looking at things differently. I mean, look, right now there's opportunities to do things differently around fan engagement. There's opportunities to do things around all the new things that are happening with sports betting. The idea of really trying to bring together the data, the analytics, all the information that's being collected across all sports today and doing the next thing with that. Those are the next generation companies. And as I like to say all the time, there will be Googles and Facebooks and Amazons of the sports business industry over the next several years. And then a lot of the companies, I mean, even some of the incumbents, whether they're the publishers or whether they're the top sports betting companies in the world today, I look at them as kind of like the Yahoos, right? Yahoo was a good search engine, but then Google came in and literally knocked them out. And there are Googles that are being created right now.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And with that, unfortunately, we are at the lightning round. So I want to come to each and every one of you for any closing thoughts, areas of opportunity, and then, of course, where can everyone find you? Because there's so much more to talk about. And, we joked with Wayne that he had an hour to talk. I mean, we could talk about this subject all day long, and we will be back with all of our panelists again to continue this conversation. But want to make sure everyone gets in their closing thoughts, and again, where everyone can find you so the audience can continue to connect as well. So Adrian, to you, quick closing thoughts, and where can everyone find you online to continue the conversation?
My closing thought would be to look very closely to the market of digital collectibles. I see huge opportunities here because people like to collect stuff, and these usually are things growing in value, and most of them can have a digital equivalent these days, which will also prove that what you are having in the physical world is genuine, or also have 100% digital collectibles with no connection to a physical thing. I can be found on LinkedIn, Adrian Niculescu. I answer to all messages, even if not immediately. Thank you very much for having me here, and can wait to contribute again.
And he definitely does answer every message, just as a little tidbit there for everybody. Also, when you do reach out to Adrian or to any of our investors, again, as a reminder, remember to add context, where you met them, where you heard them, and or something that was relevant to what they said here on VCTV as well, so that there's that context to continue the conversation and build the relationship. Irina, to you, quick closing thoughts. Where can everyone find you?
Thank you. You're right. Thank you so much for clarifying that clarity of make sure that you make the reference, and all of us will respond. I know I respond, and others do too. My closing thoughts would be, well, Angela, I will look at Chili's, because they are the solution for the team owners and for fan engagement. And I am not an advisor, just know the project. I was working closely in Malta. So check it out. Wax for tradables, that's a great kind of established platforms you can look at and see what is missing from that, so you can seek for opportunities investing in that. I would say expansion of VR is one of the biggest opportunities right now, that I would say just kind of those monetize very, very fast right now. Irina Litchfield, you can Google me, message me, follow me. If you're an investor and you have a portfolio companies that are scaling and up, please contact me. If you're an entrepreneur and you're an innovator who needs to be connected to capital for scaling, contact me. I'm always available in here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Eduardo, to you, quick closing thoughts. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, I mean, basically everyone can find me on LinkedIn. I mean, just feel free to reach out if you have interesting, services, projects, products. We will love to hear from you actually, and to invest and do your teams. So, and yeah, I mean, feel free to reach out, not only for investment opportunities, but also if you wanna play and enjoy any particular game, just let me know it, okay? you can reach me out. I'm 24/7.
There you go, 24/7, 365 in the digital metaverse, if you will, ladies and
Absolutely.
gentlemen. Eduardo's ready, whether it's Final Fantasy 15 or Mario Kart, he's ready to play. Sergey, to you, quick closing thoughts. Where can everyone find you? Oh, Sergey, you're on mute. Welcome back into the game.
Yeah. So the quick closing thoughts will be whether you're pitching your gaming or esports startups to us or to any other VC, please keep in mind how you guys will, what are your sources of traffic? Whether if it's a game, how you actually how you will get those players in the game. If you're building an esports and entertainment, okay, how you get your audience, how much you will pay for each viewer, and how it will be converted later, because this is imperative if you want to be scaled up to the next stages of investments. You can easily find me on LinkedIn if you just Google my first and second name, or if you just come to our website, capital. So feel free to text me there.
Wonderful. And Angela, quick closing thoughts. Where can everyone find you to continue the conversation?
Sure. So you can find me on LinkedIn as well, Angela Dalton, and also signumgc.com. Signum Growth Capital is my firm. I think quick closing thoughts, Wayne, you just sparked an idea, which is that we didn't even talk about Epic's very public battle against Apple and Google. And I think that the attack of that 30% tax will be our next session, hopefully together, Kyle. And I think that the universe is shifting away from that center toward game engines, and Unreal and Unity are really in pole position there. So I'd love to talk about that next time.
Wonderful. And where can everyone find you online?
LinkedIn or my site, signumgc.com.
Perfect. Wayne Kimmel, you got 30 seconds on the clock. It is a tight race. You've got the ball in your hands. What are you going to do? Close us out. Where can everyone find you? Any closing thoughts?
Hey, thanks, Kyle. And Angela, you're right. There's some amazing things happening from startups all the way up to public companies, right? The public investor wants the stuff we're talking about right now. Why have all these SPACs been popping up? Why are all these things happening? They want what we have. They want what we know. They want what our entrepreneurs know. So that's what's really exciting. And that's the next big thing here. So you can watch me on our 76 Capital Leadership Series show that we do every single week. It's a video series. We also have a podcast now. We bring in great leaders, entrepreneurs, investors, athletes all around the sports business industry. It's exciting. You can find me at Wayne Kimmel across the internet, whether that's LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. And please, my partners and I at 76 Capital and our whole team want to meet all the entrepreneurs that are doing the next thing. So again, thanks, Kyle. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you all so much for your time. If we look at the scoreboard, it's panelists, 1 million. Kyle, a big 0. Nonetheless, guys, all thank you so much for tuning in today. And also, again, investors, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and insights. And to Angie's point, we did not have enough time to cover everything because there's so much happening in this space. So it's very important to you, our audience, to look at what's happening, to connect with each of these investors, to continue the conversation and do your research as to what is continuing to shift and shape in these areas, and tune into more VCTV as we continue to dive deeper into these topics. And with that, if you like what you heard today, click subscribe, give us a thumbs up, do reach out if you'd like to be on a show like today and be a part of a continued conversation around today's topic, whether that's esports, sports, gaming, entertainment as well. Thank you, Arena. We'd love to have you on the show, and entrepreneurs as well. Do reach out if you'd like to have the chance to pitch us your gaming company as well. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Adrian. And a big thank you to Maria and to the entire LA Token team for making VCTV possible every single day. Again, thank you, panelists, for all that you contributed today in dealing with my attempt at pretending to be a sportscaster. And living my dream for just a few minutes. So I appreciate it. But nonetheless, I'm Kyle Lacotte, your host, with another edition of VCTV. We're going to take a short break because we do have a double episode, and Arena is going to take us there here in just a little bit. But audience, stay tuned. We'll be back. And again, take care, everybody.